novamusic.com.
Hi, this is Rich Formidoni from Korg USA. We're here at Nova Music, and this is the Wavedrum. It's a dynamic percussion synthesizer that goes way beyond the boundaries of what you might know as electronic percussion. So let's have a listen. So as you can see, I'm playing the head and the rim and getting different sounds for each one. And if you add pressure to the head, you can change the sound that's happening there. So you might notice that I'm actually hitting a 10-inch fiber skin coated drum head rather than a rubber pad or a mesh head. So this allows me lots of different expression and gives me a very realistic drum feel for something like a snare drum. Now, as I'm near the center of the drum, I get a nice wide open tone with the snare, and as I get closer to the rim, you can do little buzz rolls that sound very accurate. And the rim will give you the sound of hitting the side of a snare drum. And if you hit it with your hand, it sounds like a snare drum being hit with a hand. The reason for this is, instead of just triggering samples, the Wavedrum is actually listening to the way that you play through piezo transducers and using that audio impulse as the foundation for a synthesis algorithm, in this case a snare drum. So if we switch to something else like a djembe, we get a totally different feel. So as you notice, all the gestures that I would want from an actual djembe are built right in. I don't have to change the way that I play. There's no learning curve. I just play it just like I would the actual instrument. So here's a conga, another example. And as you can see, I can do the wide open tone, the slaps, and the muting, just like you would on the real instrument. So a couple more cool examples. Here's a clay pot or an udu. And by giving it a real big open shot in the middle, you get that shaker. So lots of cool stuff to do there. And you're not just limited to hitting it with sticks or hands. So for example, with that snare drum, it's sensitive enough that I can actually use real brushes. So it's incredibly sensitive all along the surface of the pad. And that holds true for other hand percussion sounds like this tabla. Now, right there, I was triggering a sitar sound and then modulating the pitch using additional pressure on the pad. Now, above and beyond the sounds that we're hearing, there's also some synthetic sounds, some stuff that you wouldn't expect and might never have even imagined to come out of an electronic percussion instrument. The way the Wavedrum works, you can actually trigger different sounds based on velocity as well as your position on the head or the rim. So, for example, here's a sound where I can control a kick drum, hi-hats, and a snare, and some synth textures as well. Now, as I'm playing the Wavedrum, I have lots of control over the way the sound is sculpted. On the top panel here, there are 4 buttons, 1 through 4, and a bank button that lets you go through A, B, and C. So for each one of those 3 banks, I can have 4 different presets. That's called live mode. You can instantly get to your 12 favorite sounds. Then you can go in and sculpt the drum. So say, for example, with the conga, I want to change the shape or the material that the shell is made of. Switch it from wood to metal, or make it slightly larger, slightly smaller, less resonant. You have lots of different control depending on the algorithms that you've chosen. And another cool thing is there are 100 different loops that you can jam along with. So if you just need a quick rhythmic inspiration, a little jamming partner, just turn on a loop and you're good to go. So in addition to using your hands or sticks or brushes, you can also hit the wave drum with mallets. Or just about anything else. And this timpani model is especially accurate to the point where you can actually tune it just like you would with a pedal on the real thing. So we include a 10-inch fiber skin head, and you can replace it with a head of your choice. And we have some recommendations on which ones work especially well with the wave drum. It does come with a drum key, and there are 5 lugs around the rim, so you can actually tune it and affect the way the wave drum responds. Now, on the back of the wave drum, there are 2 1/8-inch jacks. There's a headphone output for quiet practice, and there's an audio input. So you can connect an external audio source like an MP3 player or another wave drum. So if you want to do a dual conga setup, you can have 2 wave drums going, set them both to the conga model, and detune one of them to your liking. So there's lots of flexibility there. It's a lot of fun to play. It sounds really great, and that is the wave drum.